Grief is complicated. It's this strange, invisible weight that can feel unbearably heavy at times. You might find yourself struggling to get out of bed, or maybe you're functioning on autopilot, just trying to get through the day. Some days the pain feels far away, almost as though you've come to terms with it. Then out of nowhere, it hits you all over again. These ups and downs are part of the process, and that's okay. Welcome to And That's Okay, the podcast where we explore the ups and downs of life and remind ourselves that whatever we're feeling, it's for a reason, and that's okay. I'm Lisa Renee Scott, your host and a passionate believer that every feeling matters and every step forward counts. Each week, we'll dive into real-life challenges, share relatable experiences, and offer actionable steps to help you navigate through it all. Before we jump in, I want to remind you that I'm not a licensed doctor or a therapist. I'm here to share experiences and insights that have worked for me and others like me. Today, we're going to talk about something incredibly tender: grief. Losing someone we love is one of the most difficult experiences we face as human beings. If you're grieving right now, whether it's fresh or something you've carried for years, know this: whatever you're feeling is valid, and that's okay. There's this misconception that grief is supposed to follow a clear path, like there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. But grief doesn't work that way. It's messy, non-linear, and deeply personal. You might feel sad one day, angry the next, or even moments of relief mixed in with guilt. None of these emotions make you weak or ungrateful. They are simply part of your unique grieving journey. You might be wondering, am I doing this right? And the truth is, there is no right way to grieve. And that's okay. So you've lost someone who meant the world to you. At first, everyone around you is supportive. They check in, they send messages, they bring you food. But as time passes, the world seems to move on. The calls slow down, the invitations to talk about your loved one fade away, and there you are, still grieving, still hurting. You feel like you should be over it by now, or maybe someone has even told you that, but you're not. Every small thing, like hearing their favorite song or seeing their picture, brings that ache back. And you might wonder, am I grieving too much? Or even, why can't I just feel better? What you're feeling is completely normal. Grief doesn't have a timeline. It doesn't expire after a few weeks, months, or even years. It can come in waves, catching you off guard, and it doesn't mean you're broken. It means you loved deeply, and you're learning to love with that loss. And that's okay. Let's talk about how you can honor your grief in a way that feels true to you. The process of healing is not about fixing yourself. It's about learning how to carry the love and loss with you. So we're going to talk about a few steps that perhaps you can implement as you grieve. I've got 5 steps for you. 1 is to create a grief journal. Writing can be a powerful outlet when words feel hard to express out loud and to others. Set aside time each day, even just 5 minutes, to write down about what you're feeling. There are no rules. Write letters to your loved one, capture memories about them, or even jot down what's frustrating you about the process. By putting your thoughts on paper, you give them space to exist outside of your mind. 2, designate a sacred space. Choose a spot in your home where you can feel close to your loved one. And this might be a small little altar with a photo and a candle, or just a place where you sit and reflect. Visit this space when you feel overwhelmed by grief and allow yourself to connect with the memory in a tangible way. 3, speak their name. One of the hardest parts of grief is feeling like someone you lost is slipping away. Speak their name out loud, in conversation, or even to yourself. Share stories about them and keep their presence alive. You don't need permission from others to remember them. You are allowed to hold onto their memory in whatever way feels right to you. 4, move with intention. Grief takes a toll on our bodies too. Often it creates tension and fatigue, but movement, even gentle movement, can help release some of that. Try stretching, yoga, or going for a walk. The point isn't to exercise away your grief, but to honor your body as part of the healing process. As you move, think of each step as a small, loving gesture toward your own well-being. 5, connect with a support system. Grief can be incredibly isolating. If you're feeling alone, reach out to someone you trust. It might be a family member, a friend, or even a therapist. Sometimes just knowing that someone else is there to listen can make all the difference. You don't have to carry the weight of your grief all by yourself. Grief has this way of making you question everything. You might feel like you should be handling it better or that you should have moved on by now. But let's be real. There's no moving on from the loss of someone who meant so much to you. You don't get over them. Instead, you carry them with you as you move forward. It's okay to have good days, just like it's okay to have bad days where you want to retreat from the world. I want you to imagine giving yourself grace. If your best friend were grieving, would you rush them to feel better? Would you tell them to get over it? Would you advise them to move on? No, you'd offer them compassion, understanding, and patience. Now I want you to offer that same kindness to yourself. Healing doesn't happen overnight, and it's not about forgetting the person you lost. It's about finding a way to live even as you continue to miss them. Let's recap those action steps to help you navigate your grief in your own way. Create a grief journal. Give yourself space to process your emotions by writing them down. Designate a sacred space by creating a spot in your home to honor your loved one and spend time with their memory. Speak their name. Keep their presence alive by sharing stories and speaking their name out loud. Move with intention. Release tension from your body with gentle movement like walking or stretching. And finally, connect with a support system. Reach out to those who can offer you understanding and support when grief feels overwhelming. Grief is hard. It's messy. It's unpredictable, and it often feels never-ending. But no matter where you are in your journey, whether you're just beginning to grieve or you've been carrying it around for a long time, I want you to know that there is no right or wrong way to feel. You are allowed to grieve on your own terms. You are allowed to take your time. And you are allowed to heal at your own pace. And that's okay. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of And That's Okay. I hope you found our discussion insightful and that you're leaving with some practical steps to apply in your own life. Remember, no matter what you're feeling or going through, you have feelings, and that's okay. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who might benefit from today's topic. Until next week, take care and keep moving forward, one feeling, one step at a time.